Imagine standing in like a massive stadium and realizing the difference between a flawless concert and a totally embarrassing technical failure comes down to, well, this tiny unassuming box the size of your hand.
Yeah, it's wild how small these critical components actually are.
It really is. So, welcome to today's deep dive. We are looking at a product spec sheet from HDTVSupply for a piece of professional networking gear, specifically the Blustream DA11USB-V2 Dante USB audio encoder and decoder.
That's quite a mouthful of a name, but it is such a cool device.
Definitely. Our mission today is to demystify how this little device acts as the crucial missing link between your everyday consumer computers and those high-end professional audio systems.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Well, to really understand what this device is doing, we have to look at the two very different worlds of audio that it actually connects.
Right, I like to think of it as a universal digital bridge, because on one side you have standard USB, which is just the default language of the laptop sitting right there on your desk.
Exactly. And then on the other side, you have Dante. Yeah, the massive digital highway. You know, using a standard analog cable is a lot like sending water through a physical pipe. It's susceptible to leaks or, interference and pressure drops the further it goes, but Dante is more like a teleportation system.
That is a perfect way to visualize it. Instead of sending a continuous kind of vulnerable electrical wave down a wire, this device takes that two-channel USB audio, encodes it, and just chops it up into digital data packets.
Wow, so it just chops it right up.
Yeah, and Dante technology then sends those packets over standard IP networks. It literally uses regular Ethernet cables to fire hundreds of audio channels simultaneously.
And they just perfectly reassemble at their destination without any degradation.
Precisely. And it works in reverse, too, decoding the Dante signal right back into regular USB audio.
Okay, but I have to push back here, though. Why not just plug in a standard auxiliary audio cable? Like, why go through the trouble of chopping audio into IP network packets in the first place?
Well, I'm guessing you're thinking about the moment you run a standard cable 50 feet across a room. You end up picking up a ton of electrical hum and losing high-end frequencies.
Oh, absolutely. It sounds terrible.
What's fascinating here is the sheer fidelity you preserve by moving to a network protocol. An analog signal degrades, sure, but with this digital bridge, the USB audio supports up to 192 kilohertz at 32-bit resolution.
That is incredibly high resolution.
Right, and the Dante side handles up to 96 kilohertz at 32-bit. To put that 32-bit number into perspective for you, it gives you this massive dynamic range.
So you could capture the quietest whisper and the loudest stadium scream on the same network without introducing any distortion.
Yes, it is pristine studio quality sound.
Okay, that level of detail makes total sense for a recording studio.
This raises an important question regarding live events, though, which is audio sync.
Ah, timing.
Exactly. When you are routing massive amounts of data over a complex network, timing is just everything.
Because if the latency is too high, the video of the CEO speaking on the stadium screen won't match the audio hitting the speakers. You get that awful, disorienting lip sync issue.
Which completely ruins the experience for you in the audience. That's why this device features configurable latency settings via the Dante controller software.
Oh, so you can actually adjust it on the fly.
Yeah, you can dial it down to just 2 milliseconds. That is virtually instantaneous to the human brain.
That's crazy fast.
It really is. Plus, it also supports AES-67 RTP audio transport. In simple terms, that means it ensures different brands of professional broadcast gear can talk to each other seamlessly.
Right, so no proprietary software getting in the way.
Exactly.
Now, high-end specs usually mean an absolute nightmare to set up, but here's where it gets really interesting for you if you're actually outfitting a modern studio or a conference room. The physical design is surprisingly plug-and-play.
It really is designed for ease of use.
Yeah, it has selectable USB-C and USB Type-B inputs, and you toggle between them using a simple physical dip switch right on the box.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the physical integration is practically effortless. It utilizes power over Ethernet or PoE.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. That means a single Ethernet cable provides both the network connection and the electricity to run the device. You don't need to hunt for an outlet or manage bulky power supplies.
Which is an absolute lifesaver in a chaotic live event environment. But wait, what if your network switch doesn't actually support PoE?
Well, it does accept standard 5-volt USB power, just in case. But the single cable setup is definitely the ideal scenario. And for a professional-grade bridge, it sits at around $583, backed by a 5-year Blustream warranty.
So what does this all mean? It means the gap between your everyday consumer tech and massive professional AV networks is shrinking.
Yeah, you can literally bring a standard laptop to a major live event, plug in one cable, and instantly merge your audio onto a pristine digital superhighway.
Which is just incredible. It leaves you with an interesting thought to ponder on your own. As standard internet protocols and Ethernet cables continue to replace traditional dedicated AV wiring, what does the future of physical connectivity look like?
That is the big question.
Right. Like, will the traditional audio jack disappear entirely from live events, just swallowed up by universal IP networks?
Yeah.
Something to think about the next time you plug in your headphones.